Ivan Toney is keen on a move to Arsenal Football Club in January. All the latest on that story, plus two big pieces of transfer and new contract news at Manchester City, and a new deal reported as advanced and potentially imminent at Manchester United. Hit the like button, subscribe. Please turn on those bell notification buttons as well. Very important to the terrorists that you do that. The Done Deal Show. Let's go. Ivan Toney is one of the most sought-after players in the forthcoming January transfer window. Chelsea are looking, Man United are interested, and of course Arsenal, who have been a little gun-shy up front so far this season, are circling and looking at this player. At the moment, it's kind of being played down a little bit. As in, when in February 2023, the links to Declan Rice started, it was really bigged up. There was a lot of noise surrounding it. Now, the media is doing a very similar thing here, but Arsenal reportedly coming out a little bit more coy surrounding this situation. However, this type of news and this type of information coming from Ivan Toney's camp could be very interesting. It essentially reads that this deal is advancing, that Brentford striker is keen on the move to Arsenal when his 8-month ban for breaching FA betting rules is up in January. The article here says that, as per many reports, Arsenal and Ivan Toney are on the same page when it comes to the potential January transfer. As reported by numerous sources, including the Daily Mail and the Mirror, Arsenal were keen to sign the Brentford striker Ivan Toney in the upcoming January window. Equally, the forward himself is very interested in making the switch to the Emirates Stadium. He says, however, it will apparently take a fee of around 80 million to convince the Bees to part way with the 27-year-old. Now, I don't think personally Arsenal were going to be too worried about the fee. Yes, it might end up being 80 million pounds, but this guy is almost as close to a certainty to improve your team, to score goals, and to potentially help deliver your first Premier League title in 2 decades, 20 years. So for me, right now, I see him becoming an Arsenal player. I'd love him at Man United. Don't see it happening. Chelsea are definitely interested. And look, Chelsea may try and do something here. They may offer more money to buy him. They could offer much higher wages or a much longer deal to get this over the line, to bring him to West London and Stamford Bridge. But for me, if I'm taking my bias hat off, if I'm looking at this from and try and be totally neutral, Arsenal are in a much better position than both United and Chelsea. Arsenal should be moving heaven and earth to bring this guy in. He's top class. And for me, if you're going to go around Europe and try and find a striker as good or better, you're paying double that. You're at least paying 30 or 40 million extra. You've got the likes of the Napoli striker, Victor Osimhen. You're talking 150 million pounds. He's brilliant, but he's not almost double the quality of Ivan Toney. So you then get into this realm of, well, you've got 150 million pounds to spend on a striker, but you can pick Toney up for 70 or 80. It leaves you with a lot of change to invest in new deals for your current crop of stars, or an additional player, whether it be a centre-back, a full-back, or a wide player. Arsenal could potentially go out in January and buy Ivan Toney and Pedro Neto for less money than Victor Osimhen costs. And for me, in terms of instant impact, quality of squad, additional depth in strength in depth, Arsenal would improve exponentially with that piece of business. We're going to keep an eye on this deal in the coming weeks and months. Yes, it's October, only 2 months away from the January window, but this is when the work begins. The transfer window essentially never closes. Now, moving up to Manchester, reports here that Man United are in talks with Aaron Wan-Bissaka about a new contract. And this worries me. And a lot of people will say, what is there to be worried about when it comes to this situation? Well, it's very clear for me. AWB's good. He's a world-class one-on-one defender. Overall, he's a good footballer. I think that would be a fair way to analyze him. I understand the concept of protecting an asset. Give him a new deal and it maintains his value, as it were. That was something, it's something I do believe in within football. However, I don't trust Man United in delivering that. Looking at his current situation, his deal as it stands right now ends in 2024 with a club option of 1 year. This is my fear with our current ownership with doing this. They spun this line to us 7-8 years ago that they're going to renew contracts of players that they don't necessarily want to maintain value so they can sell them and reinvest that money. But we very rarely sell them. We very rarely make that additional money that the sale of the new contract should give you. A new contract generally raises the value of a player, but we never end up selling them. The amount of players we've given new deals to, and what we actually should do is say, we're going to go and buy someone better and move you on. It's been unbelievable in the last decade. Listen, there's been really talented players, but Juan Mata stayed too long. Ashley Young stayed too long. Of course, Phil Jones stayed too long, as an example. AWB's only 25 years of age. I think he's done a good job so far. I think Delo has done a good job so far. But Man United should be aiming for better than a good job. We should be aiming for a right back who can defend very well and is also more technically proficient. The problem we have with Delo and with AWB is we need almost a hybrid of the two. I don't think either are good enough at the elite level to get my club back to where I want us to be. So I understand the concept of a new deal. I understand increasing the value, selling and reinvesting. I don't trust my club to deliver on this. Plus, we need better, in my opinion, than AWB moving forward. But I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, staying in Manchester, maybe I know it's devastating news, but there is talk of Phillips being expected to leave Manchester City in January, with Newcastle and Everton amongst those interested in the midfielder. And I don't think anybody would be shocked by this. Let me take a sip of this drink. I don't think anybody's shocked. I don't think anybody would think, oh, wow, that's a strange one. Didn't see that coming. That's a bolt from the blue. Calvin Phillips has flopped hard at Manchester City. Absolutely flopped hard. And I think that was sort of, you saw that over the weekend. Well, you've seen that in the last few weeks with no Rodri in the Premier League. Has he been the go-to guy? Has he been the individual at 27? By the way, 27 years of age. Let us not get that twisted. 27 years of age, the £50 million player he was purchased. Has Pep gone, don't care if Rodri's out. We've got Calvin Phillips. No. He's been an absolute travesty of a signing for City. But there is a player in there. I do believe there is a quality player in there. At Leeds United, he's killing it. And there's a lot of people, it was linked to Listen, and people talk about him having a bad injury record. He's had 4 injuries in his whole career. I was looking at it today. He had a shoulder injury in 2020, which he missed 30 days, 7 games. He had a calf injury in 2020, 2021. That, again, he missed another 6 games. And then at Leeds again in the same year, 2021, he did miss 105 days with a bad hamstring injury. And then he's done his shoulder. And he missed a long time with that shoulder. But that shoulder injury was from August last year until November 22. He's been fit now for 12 months and he's still barely kicking a ball. Well, he's been injury-free. I wouldn't necessarily say fit. I still think there was a very technically gifted footballer in there. I still think they're very capable. If you don't think technically gifted, capable, practical, usable football player there. I think Newcastle and Everton could be buying a gem. He's going to be available relatively cheaply. And if anybody's paying any more than £20 million for him, they're being robbed based on how bad he's been. The fact that City do not trust him. £20 million in January, I think that could be a great piece of business for one of those sides. I do. City fans, let me know what you think. Staying with City, Man City are keen to give Erling Haaland a new contract, which would remove the reported 173 million release clause and reduce fears of Real Madrid or Barca luring him away. Of course they're going to offer him that. If that buyout clause is true, and it's been rumored by a number of top journalists that it is, of course they're going to try and offer him a new deal. Of course they're going to try and convince him to stay here permanently. And Man City are in a position to be able to do that. Yes, they got beat at the weekend. Yes, they're third in the Premier League right now. But all being equal, all being fair, they're the best team in the world right now. And they are the best run club, or one of the best run clubs in world football. Real Madrid, Barcelona, yes, they've got the heritage, the prestige, the legacy behind them. There is playing for one of those clubs probably feels very different to playing for Man City from a prestige point of view. And it might take City another 50 years to gain that level of fame and prestige across world football, multi-generational, etc. But being at Man City right now is an impeccable place to be. City want to try and keep him. I totally understand this. I'm intrigued to see whether Erling Haaland does it, because the story has always been he'll do 3-4 years at City and then move on to one of the legacy clubs. Or does he want to stay at the Premier League, the biggest and the best league in the world, and turn? And maybe, I mean, you could argue City have already become a legacy club with doing a treble and everything else. I'm not too sure. Viewers, give me your opinion on that. I don't put them in that category yet. As great as this City team is, when I think of the Liverpools, the Man Uniteds, the Real Madrids, the Bayern Munichs, it's multiple great teams over generations is why they're legacy clubs. City have had one great team. So I still think they've got to do it again or maintain this dominance for a longer period of time to move anywhere near that category. And AC Milan and others like it. You may disagree with that. I'd love to hear about your opinions in the comment section. But will he sign a new deal and should he? That's my question for you all today. We know City are going to offer him this. They definitely don't want a buyout clause. They want full control. But should Haaland sign a new deal? Let me know in the comment section below, people. Please hit the like button. Check out our TikTok as well. Scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link below to go check that out. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless you.